Hi, I'm Will. This is Carbormet. We're going to be taking a look at Evergreen today. This is a game designed by Hjalmar Hach and published by Horrible Guild for 1 to 4 players. I will be teaching how to play the game. I will explain how the solo works. I'll play through a full solo game, and then I'll give my review at the end. Feel free to jump around at the timestamps below. And what this game is you are growing an environment of trees, providing sunlight, and helping the forest to grow. Of course, the sun will travel around the board and throughout the different seasons and help the trees to grow and score points. This is a bit of a spiritual successor to a different game called Photosynthesis, but this game is much more solitaire friendly and much puzzlier, kind of on your own little puzzle board. So it's got some real neat things to it. Let's head down to the table and I'll explain how to play. Okay, so each player will have a board set up as so. You are going to create a starting array of cards to determine some starting values of what various trees and things are worth in terms of points. You'll see cards come in one of, was it 6 different landscapes that will show how many, what their fertility value is. And they'll show kind of the color of the card, and they'll show a special action below. And sometimes there is a skull card, which is a blight, I guess. It removes some of the fertility. And then there are wild cards. So you're going to be randomly dealing out to the tableau until you have 5 fertility symbols worth on the board, and then you'll stop and then shuffle the rest of the deck. Then you will be dealing out at the start of each round the number of cards equal to the player count plus 1. In the case of solo, it'll be 3, but I'll come back to that. So you'll have some starting values, you'll have some drafting cards. The first player token will always go on the furthest left. And then the person who previously had the first player token will go first. We'll select the card, and so on until everybody has selected a card, and then the remaining card will be added to the scoring tableau, which will change how some of the endgame scoring works. Now, there is a trick, because if a card with a skull is not chosen during the round and goes to join the scoring tableau, it will negate the last played card that matches that color, turning it face down and nullifying the score provided by that card. So you can kind of manipulate the scoring a little bit that way. Wild cards, if they ever hit the scoring tableau, will just get discarded and return to the discard pile. If the deck runs out, you'll just shuffle and continue. But of course, it's very likely that the wild cards will not make it that far because they are quite desirable in other ways. So, when it comes to your turn to pick a card, if you take the card with the first player marker, you'll be the first to select on the next turn. So, say I'm going to take the green card here. I have the first player marker. And then we're going to look at the cards. So each card, like I said, has a fertility value. This does not mean anything once you've selected a card for yourself. But you will be looking at the color of the card that matches the landscape. So in this case, it is this kind of lush green forest up here. And you'll be looking at the special action below. Now, you may take the standard action or the special action, whatever order you want, but you must complete one of those that action before you move on to the other one. So, how does this work? Each player has access to 4 standard actions, as abbreviated down in the bottom right corner of your board, to help you keep track of what you're supposed to do. So when you pick a card, the landscape color you choose is where you will be performing one of these 4 actions. With the exception of action D, which I'll come to when I explain what the different actions do. So you're going to pick one of those, perform it in that landscape, and you'll also be performing the special action. Remember, you can choose which order you do them in. The special actions relate to these markers at the top. And what you do is when you take a special action, for this case, we have a sprout, which is these, looks like some sticks coming out of the ground. You're going to find the corresponding action, move the token forward 1 space, and then based on the number it is at, you will do that action that many times. In which case, I will place 2 sprouts. Now, when you are performing the special action, they may be placed anywhere on the board, unlike the standard action, which must be placed where this particular color is. So you have a little bit more flexibility, plus there's a little bit of an engine building because the more times you do the action, the stronger it gets. But of course, once it caps out at the max, you'll still be able to do the action, but it will not go any further past that. So let's take a look at what some of the different actions are. So anytime you have a sprout, you'll be placing one of these small wooden brown color tokens on your board in the corresponding location. So in the standard action, for example, in action A, you'll be placing 3 of these in the location of your card. So 3 in this green area. You also place 3 in here. You'll slot them into the little slots. You'll see that there are some blank spaces which you cannot place on. Action B is upgrading. So here we're going to upgrade 2 different things. So for example, if I had 2 sprouts, I could upgrade them into 2 trees, or I could upgrade, 2 trees into 2 larger trees, or any combination. But you cannot upgrade the same thing twice. You have to split up, and they both again have to be in the location of the card. So part C is placing a sprout and doing a single tree upgrade, which, like I said, is from a sprout to a tree, or a tree into a large full-grown tree. Or part D is doing either placing a single sprout or doing a single upgrade, but it can be done anywhere because the little globe symbol on the corner shows and reminds you that you can perform it anywhere. So there's a little bit of a benefit. It's a weaker action, but you have more control over where that's going to happen. And very similarly, the actions to the top. So placing sprouts can be done anywhere because it's a special action equal to the number. Here we have placing small trees. So in this case, these are not upgrades. These are the immediate placement of just a straight up small tree. Placing of a large tree, which can be, again, placed anywhere. Here we have the seed. A seed is just points. You're going to track points by moving your token around the circle. Every time you pass the middle at 50, you can advance the 50s marker down the side, and then keep going. Then we have water. So when you add water, each thing, whether it's a sprout or a small tree, that it is orthogonal to, so that it is up, down, left, and right, not diagonal. Each thing that is next to will upgrade by 1 step. And then lastly, we have a bush, and these little green, these like kind of paler yellow-green shrubberies can again be placed anywhere. They do not count for any kind of scoring, but they will make it easier for scoring connections, as well as they do not block sunlight. So blocking sunlight. Let's get down to scoring, and I'll explain how that works. So you're going to be doing various actions and so on, and placing trees until you get back to until you have completed the number of cards equal to whatever it shows for the round. So there are 4 rounds. The first round being 5 cards, and then 4, and then 3, and then 2. So the last round goes by very quickly. Once you've done the 5 cards, you'll do scoring based on where the sun marker is. And how the scoring works is you're going to look from the direction of where the sun is coming from. So in this case, it is going this way. You're going to look down each column, each line, and you're going to calculate the scoring of trees and stuff that way. So you're only really going to get points for the small green, light green trees are going to get 1 point each as long as they have sunlight. And the larger dark green trees get 2 points each as long as they have sunlight. So how does the sunlight work? The small trees cast a shadow of one space. So, for example, my example here, the small tree behind the first one does not receive a point. So the first one will get a point, the second one does not. The larger tree does stand up above the previous one, so it will get 2 points. You can also kind of stagger them. So in this case, here, a little more complicated. So the first tree receives a point. The second tree does not because it is in the shadow. But because the shadow length has been finished, it resets. This tree will receive a point. The larger, taller tree will receive 2 points. But if you had another small tree or another large tree, the 2 spaces behind, neither of them will receive a point. So you'll have to examine each of those separately for each of the columns leading away from the sun. Then you'll look at your single largest group of contiguous green things. So it could be small tree, large tree, or bush, your largest group, and you get 1 point per thing in the largest group. Remember, it must be green, so not the brown sprouts, not the water. Then once you're done scoring that, you're going to rotate the sun around to the other side. So you're going clockwise, and then you're going to continue with the next round. So by the time you've done all 4 sides, north, east, south, and west, and the last one being 2 cards, then you move on to final scoring. You do score the final round as normal, but then you move on to the scoring of the different habitats. So the different habitats, you're going to look at the total fertility value in those habitats, and you're going to look at how many large green trees, those are the bigger, darker green ones you have, and you're going to multiply those two, right? So if I had, 2 large, darker trees in the reddish brown area, and it's worth 2 points each, that would be 4 points. So you finish calculating that, and then whoever has the most points at the end of the game wins. All right, the solo mode is very similar to the multiplayer mode, except there will be a very simple AI that will control the drafting of the cards. So let's show an example here. So you're always going to place, again, the flower token or the leaf token at the furthest left, but there will be a simple priority list of what the AI will take. And of course, whoever had the first marker, whether the first player marker, whether it was you or the AI, will determine who goes first. So first, it will prioritize taking a wild card, which means that you can perform the standard locations anywhere. It's going to take that first. Then it will go for the one with the most fertility icons. Okay. Then, if there are no fertility icons available, or if there's a tie, it'll take the one furthest to the left. So, for example, if there are both 2, it'll take the one furthest to the left. And of course, if there's no icons at all, so if they're all skulls, it's going to take the one where the biome has the least fertility icons in the fertility zone. So it'll kind of negate the least. We're going to reset for solo modes. Now that we know how to play, I'll see if I can save as much space as possible here. So 1, 2, 3, 4, no, 5. Okay, all right, they're all largely the same. So we have, no, that was not great. Okay, let's begin. So we got 1, 2, 3. Now it won't really matter so much if I take this one, leave this one now because there's nothing to negate. I do want to start growing in these 2 areas, but that's not fully possible right now just because of where things are. So I could look at bonuses. Water's not super helpful right now. Small sticks. Yeah, maybe I want to do some small sticks, although I would be able to place normal ones anywhere. Yeah, let's see what. Let's get a good start here. We'll get the small sprouts going. So I'm going to take this one. I'm going to do the basic action first. I have nothing on the board right now, so I'm going to place 3 in this area, and I'll probably try to stagger them a little bit maybe, so that I can hopefully, kind of get scoring from different angles here. And then, so that was A, and then I'm going to do this, the ability. So I'll move that, and then I get 2 more, and I can put those anywhere. And I'm going to go ahead and add them into, maybe the light green zone, because that's where the most points are right now. So I took that one. The AI is going to take the red, and then this is going to enter this display, but it doesn't really mean anything because there's nothing for it to negate. So now we continue with the next 3. Okay, do I want to continue with the yellow? There's a bush there. Water would really help me grow things right now. And I can continue to focus in the area I'm already at. So I'm going to take... Oh, but he's going to negate the snow. I'm going to leave that for now. So I'm going to take this. I am going to upgrade 2 of these trees in this zone. And then I'll place a water. Let's advance the water, and maybe I'll place it on the outside here. And then upgrade this one into the large green, and then a small green over here. The AI is going to take that, and this will negate the snow icon. Oh, we got a wild here. Maybe it was a good time for me to go first. Although I do want to get the scoring increased at some point. Although the large tree, yeah, I'm going to take it. So I'm going to grab the wild. I'll take the singular large tree anywhere I want. And based on how the scoring is, I still want to make connections to get some scoring. But I do have wild. So let's put connections up here. And then for wild, I'm going to take the 2 upgrades. Yeah, I think I'm going to upgrade these 2. Which kind of blocks me a little bit now, but I'll get 4 points for the area scoring, which I think is good. The guy is going to take this, and then this one's going to enter the scoring. All right. Next, ooh, more wilds. Well, this is kind of good. The green I need is going to get more points. I should start focusing on that a little bit more. I'm going to take the one with the bush. So let's see, we're at 4 cards now. I'm going to put a bush maybe just in here to connect these things together. And because I get 1 bush from that. And then the actions I want to take, maybe I'll do the upgrades. So I do get 2 upgrades. Since these are kind of blocked anyways, I'm going to go ahead and upgrade that one over there. And then upgrade this one down here. Alright, so since I took a wild, I can apply the effects in multiple different biomes. The guy is going to take the wild card, and then since I was still first player last time, it falls back to me. And we continue to upgrade the scoring. It's getting pretty good, 5 points for that 1 tree. And we have 1 card left. Okay. What do I want to increase? Small trees. Let's negate that. Well, we're not really gaining points so much here. It's not ideal, but I don't really want to take this yellow one either and just get the seed points. It's not great. The bush could be helpful, but I mean, so could the small tree. Okay, I'm going to take the small trees. I got one small tree, and I'm going to put it in here and connect all these things, even though it's not really scoring right now. Next round, when the sun comes around, I'll get some scoring. And then for the actions, yeah, let's put 3 sprouts into the yellow area. So kind of expand my reach a bit here. Oops. 1, 2, 3, something like that. The eye's gonna take this one, and then this will negate something. I'm just gonna put these up here so that they still are used, but not taking space. And that is 5 cards. Okay, so we're going to do scoring at the end of this round, because at the end of the round, I think the AI took the first player marker. No, I took it. Okay, so scoring, sunlight comes this way. So we're going to get 2, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 points for that. And then for area, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Got those nicely connected. So 17, off to a decent start. Rotate the sun. This round we are going to only be doing 4 cards for the round. And let's dive right into it. Okay, I do not want him to ruin my green trees, and I could stand to upgrade those a little bit more. So I'm going to take this one. It's just going to get me a single point, which is not awesome, but that's fine. And I'm going to take maybe the triple sprout action. Especially as this one's going to score the most right now, I could really like to kind of pump it up a bit. 1, 2, 3. Although if I grow those and the sun comes from that direction, it's going to ruin everything. But that's fine. The eye is going to take the wild, and then this adds to display, and first player stays with me. 1, 2, 3. Okay. So if I take the wild, he'll take the snow because it's closest to the left. But if I want him to leave the snow, I have nothing in the snow right now. I would rather increase the yellow, so I think we'll do that. I'll take first player. Take the wild. It gives me 1 water. And we can put that. Where is it going to make the best impact? I don't really have any good setups for this right now. I can increase oh no, I can, you know what, I'm going to do the other action first. I can choose the order. So let's do maybe the 3 sprouts action. Oh yeah, here we go. I'm going to put them all in that light green. Oh no, maybe not all of them. I'll put 2 of them there and 1 of them down here. And then I'm going to put that water right in the middle and turn all 4 of those into the mini trees. You do have to be a little bit careful with moving stuff because you can create a bit of a domino effect if you're not careful. And they're not that bad, but if you bump the table, then it's going to happen. Okay. All right, the AI is going to take snow, and we're going to increase this. I wonder if I can squeeze these in a bit. tight. All right, next card. Ooh, dark greens. Oh, you know what? This is going to work for me, I think. So I take the first play marker again. I advance my bit large trees. And that's going to go... Where can I go to make contiguous groups? Or do I want to increase the value? Orange is going to be... No, orange is not going to be 5. Dark green is going to be 3. He's going to take that one. So let's do... Shadows are going to be laid everywhere. Maybe up here? Doesn't really get me any points here. Maybe I'll just connect things down here. 1, 2. Go down there for now, sure. Okay, and then in dark green, I'm going to add nothing to upgrade, so I'm going to add 3 sprouts. 1, 2, and 3. Okay, AI is taking this, and that is upgrading. All right, we're at 3 cards, so 1 more, and then the round is over. Okay, I'm going to take the dark green to upgrade those newly placed ones, although the second action is weak. But if I don't take this one, it's going to for sure get left behind and ruin my scoring. So I'm going to take that. That's going to give me 2 points here. 2. And I'm going to upgrade 2 things in the dark green area. I'll put some mini trees there. Actually, I'll leave that one. I'll do this one instead. You know what? It doesn't really matter. Yeah, I'll do that. Okay, AI is going to take the wild, and then this one gets added. So I got to get more into this lush green area because it's getting pretty valuable right now. So that's the end of the round. We're going to score from this direction, this way. Here we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. 35, and then for area we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So I'm at 45. Okay, now we rotate the sun, and we're going to continue. Next round is only 3 cards. So 1, 2. Oh, if only I could get him to leave that one. That would be amazing for points, but you know, I think I'm going to take it so that I can get that section upgraded some. It is advancing my twigs to 3, my twigs to 3, and we can place those anywhere. So let's go 1, 2. So we're working on connecting these things together. 3, and then in the forest area, we're going to upgrade a couple things. Let's go this guy to dark green. Yeah, you want, let's go for the points, and that guy to dark green as well. Okay, I just going to take this, and this is going to get added. Next, oh, red's in danger. Snow doesn't matter. Oh, and yellow. I don't have anything in yellow. I don't want that. I have 2 in red already, none in yellow. I don't want to lose my red points, so I'm going to take that. which is also gives me first player again. We're advancing to 4 points. 1, 2, 3, 4. And in red, I can place... let's do 2 upgrades. So we're going to do a large tree there, and I can make this one a small tree. Okay, I takes that. This one gets added. All right, last card for this round. Just speed up quite a bit. Okay, so here, I think I want the large tree. I don't really care that much about either of those. Okay, so I'm going to take the yellow and get the large tree action, which is 2 large trees, anywhere I want. They're going to go in this juicy upper section here. And then in yellow, I'm going to do the 2 upgrades. So we'll do, yeah, I gotta think about group scoring too. So we'll go 1 and 2. Okay, AI takes this. This one gets added to scoring. There's not really any room. It might just here, but let's stick it here. Okay, so that is 3 cards to that round. So fast round. All right, so now we're scoring from bottom up. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, skip 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22. 2, 1, 20. Okay, and then the area. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 4, 5, 26, 36. Okay, last round. 2 cards left to draft anyways. We're going to have to shuffle a bit. I think I keep forgetting to move the, the leaf token, so forgive me if I messed up the turn order a little bit. So 1, 2, and 3. If I take, that's the large. I'm gonna take it because that's 2 large trees. And the next most valuable area, I think, is yellow. So let's put them in there. And then the brown area, I'm going to do a twig and an upgrade. That's part C. So we're going to go twig and an upgrade. Basically just gives me one point. AI is going to take that one, so snow gets added. And next we have last card. So 1, 2, 3. I don't want dark green to get negated. I would love for that to get added, but it won't. So let's increase my dark green. There's 4 points. 1, 2, 3, 4. And let's do the double upgrade. And even though this is blocking my sunlight by a lot, at least I'm going to get the points for the dark green that way. Because the AI is going to take this card, and then that's going to get added to the tableau. Okay, that is already the end of the round, because there are only 2 cards in the last round. So let's do final scoring, going this way. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22. 2, and 100. And then for area, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. I never quite got this connected. And 30. All right. On to final scoring. So now we look at each of the areas and multiply the larger dark green trees by the number of fertility icons in the area. So we have the swamp, I guess, on the mountains, maybe? Mountains, I have nothing. So that was not helpful. Let's do the red force. I have 1, 2, 3. 3 is 9. 9. I have nothing in the tundra. And then, let's see, I have 4 in the dark green areas. So 1, 2, 3, 4 times 4 is 16. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 45, 55. Bump up my 50s. I have 5 in yellow, and I have only 2 trees, 2 large trees in yellow. So that's 10 points. And then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 in the lighter green times 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So it's 30 points. So I'm at 45 there. So that comes to 195, which according to the score, I am at the Battle Bob, which is not the highest score, but certainly quite good. Okay, well, that is Evergreen. Let's head back and have our review. All right, so you can see that the gameplay is fairly quick and the pace accelerates. Mostly, I mean, just because you are taking shorter and shorter rounds each time. But I think that is just fine because by the end, you've got quite a little network of trees going. You do upgrade your special abilities a little bit, depending on what you're going for. They're all pretty good. I find sometimes, especially with the solo mode, you like probably the point scoring seed cards are probably the weakest to take, but because they are all on these skull tokens, you want to kind of knock those out of the game before the AI leaves them and ruins your score. Of course, this can happen in multiplayer too. You can kind of get got by other players who can see what you're going for and might kind of coordinate leaving behind something. Of course, they might want that card to build something on their own boards, but there's certainly a lot of kind of wrangling for, I want to be first player so I can, choose the best card and the best special ability for what I want to do. But being last player actually has a fair amount of weight because you get to decide what gets added to the scoring. And that is incredibly important, being able to control the game in that sense. And it's really neat that you're able to do that in that way. So first, let's look at components. Components are really quite good. Things are a little small, a little fiddly. They more or less stay pretty well in their little slots. There's possibility of knocking them over if you bump the table or kind of whack things. You do have to be careful and remove them carefully. There's a ton of pieces in this game. The game does come with a bit of an organizer. Basically, it's a pre-built series of kind of folded paper. Essentially, it's like insert paper. So I probably am going to glue those down so pieces don't slide underneath of them. It gets a little bit annoying, but otherwise, it does do a pretty good job of holding everything in place. Once the boards are in, it keeps everything in tight so nothing moves, which is great. And being able to put this in the center of the table, especially since there's so much switching pieces around, being able to put it out is really handy for all players to be able to reach at. Otherwise, the boards are great, nice dual-sided boards, nice wooden components. The color and graphic design is just beautiful. It's very kind of subdued, elegant, fine lines and nice little pops of color. There's probably some colorblind issues. If you have color blindness, you probably might want to stay away from this. But they do make up for it by providing symbols that designate what each landscape type is. So underneath all of the pieces on the board, there is symbols, and on the cards they explain kind of where it goes. So they did as best they could probably to help colorblind players or players with other visibility issues dealing with that. So, I'm glad they were able to think through that. And of course, the box does not take up more space than is required. It is a nice, skinny box, which I appreciate going on my shelf. And of course, the cover art is absolutely gorgeous. So in terms of the actual gameplay mechanics, the puzzle is satisfying. It's not especially deep, being able to maximize both building out the areas you want to build, but also grouping connections, has a nice little twist to it. And the fact that the sun moves around makes you, or rather rewards you for thinking a couple rounds ahead of where things are going to be. But really by the end of the game, you're just trying to cram as much as you can for those sweet, sweet endgame scores. Of course, depending on how other players play at the table, you could end up with much lower scoring games, or you could end up with much higher scoring games where everyone is aiming to get points up higher. So, that's interesting. I'll come back to that in a second. Being able to upgrade your special actions is really nice and gives you a little bit of added emphasis on another slight, added decision space to choose certain cards over others. So I really like that. And everything is tracked really nicely with these little purple tokens. So that's great. However, it is, the same layout each game. The mechanics and scoring of the game is basically the same all the time. What is really going to make it variable is the order the cards come out, and that'll kind of dictate your strategy a bit, but also those scoring cards. That is probably the most interesting, unique part of the game. While I love the puzzle part in building the landscape, being able to kind of dictate what gets added to the scoring based on leftover cards. I think that is brilliant, making use of that extra card from the card draft that doesn't get used. And the fact that you can add that to the scoring really adds a lot of power to the last player in a turn order. So there's times where you purposely don't want to take the first player marker because you want to have that control, or maybe you take the first so that you can get the card you need. So there's some really good decisions there. The game is not too long, and while there is very low interactions within players, the card drafting is impactful, and you can kind of, reduce the scores of other players by knocking out the cards they need in the areas they're building. So overall, I think Horrible Guild has done another great puzzle game. I don't think it has quite as much variety as Railroad Inc., for example, which is another one of their games, which I very much enjoy. But I like a lot what I see here, and the solo works pretty well. The AI is quick and easy to facilitate, and doesn't 100% play like normal players would, but it does a pretty good job at making those tough decisions. So, thank you for watching. Please like it and subscribe. You can also check out my Instagram channel, Cardboard Minute, and I post regular pictures of board games. And I'm Will, and this is Cardboard Minute.